You've got a solo developer, a project that goes completely viral, and then a trillion-dollar company makes its move. The story of OpenClaw feels so new, so unique, but it's really not. It's actually a pattern. It's a playbook for how big tech absorbs open source movements. So let's break it down.
In this, right here, is the heart of it. This is the central idea we're going to unpack. We're going to see how having open source code is absolutely no guarantee against the quiet, almost invisible, gravitational pull of centralized power. It's a playbook, and believe me, it has been run before.
I mean, look at this. Oracle did it with MySQL, Microsoft did it with GitHub, and now here we are in 2026, and the exact same pattern is repeating with OpenAI and OpenClaw. But here's the thing. This isn't some clumsy, straightforward acquisition story. No. It's way more elegant and honestly, way more effective than that.
Okay, so to really understand the playbook, we first have to go back and understand the phenomenon itself. It all kicked off with just one person and an idea that it exploded faster than anyone, including him, could possibly control.
And this is the guy, Peter Steinberger. Now, he's not some random coder winning a hackathon. This is a serious builder. We're talking about someone who spent 13 years creating rock-solid infrastructure for huge companies like Dropbox and Autodesk. So when his 41st personal project went viral, people paid attention. It had credibility baked right in from day one.
And this was the idea that started it all, a simple weekend hack from back in November 2025. It was an AI that didn't just talk to you, but could actually browse the web and run commands directly on your computer, all from a simple message on Telegram. Think about that for a second. This wasn't just another chatbot. This was software with your passwords.
And it just caught fire. I mean, over 100,000 stars on GitHub in just a couple of months. It became one of the fastest growing projects ever.
The hype was just insane. More than 2 million people hit the website in a single week.
And this is what they were all building. The community, who started calling themselves the Lobster Army, created something like 1.5 million individual AI agents. This wasn't just a piece of code anymore, it was a full-blown movement.
You know what's really telling, though? The chaos of it all. The project was growing so fast, it literally outran its own name. First, it was CloudBot, but then Anthropic's lawyers came knocking. So then in some wild 5 a.m. Discord session, it became Moltbot. Finally, they landed on OpenClaw. This wasn't just a rebrand, it was a flashing red light that the project was moving way too fast to be governed cleanly.
But this whole thing, it wasn't just about going viral. OpenClaw represented a really fundamental shift in what AI could do. And with that shift came a whole new category of risk that nobody was really prepared for.
So here's the crucial point, right? Before this, AI was an assistant that you consult. You'd ask ChatGPT a question and it gives you back an answer. But OpenClaw changed the entire medium. It became an agent that you deploy. It doesn't just give you the answer anymore. It goes and executes the steps. It stopped suggesting and started doing.
So what does giving AI hands actually mean? Well, it's not a metaphor. It's really just a nice-sounding euphemism for access. Full-on permissions, shell commands, file access, browser control. Remember, an agent isn't just a chatbot. It is software with your passwords.
And you better believe the security community saw the implications immediately. This wasn't just an app launch. It was a massive attack surface forming in real time. Suddenly you've got these AI agents with wide-open system permissions and community marketplaces where malicious skills could be hiding, ready to turn your helpful little bot into a password-stealing nightmare.
And the stakes just escalated fast. By February 2026, it stopped being this quirky open-source project and it became a geopolitical issue. China's government issued a formal warning about it, urging audits and much stronger security for any deployments. Yeah, the world's governments were now paying very close attention.
So with this level of attention, both the good and the bad, the project was a massive blip on the radar of the biggest players in AI. The pattern was about to repeat itself. That call, it was inevitable.
And there it is. Steinberger announced he was joining OpenAI. Now, his stated goal was that he didn't want to build another big company. He wanted to change the world, and that this was the fastest way to scale his impact. But for the community, well, this was the exact moment all their fears started to feel very, very real.
And this, folks, is the absorption playbook. It's just elegant. You don't buy the company, that's too obvious, it creates a backlash. Instead, you hire the founder. You help put the project into an independent foundation. You provide support and funding without any formal ownership.
And, crucially, you keep the code open source. That way, no one can really claim betrayal. There's no single villain to point at. There's just gravity.
Which leaves us right here, with two truths just sitting side by side staring at each other. On one hand, yes, the OpenClaw Foundation is independent, and yes, the code is open. On the other hand, the founder, the project's visionary leader, now works for OpenAI. Both things are true, and neither one resolves the other.
The community reacted almost instantly. They saw the pattern playing out, and they gave their collective fear a name. They started talking about the ghost of ClosedClaw.
Now, what's really interesting here is that ClosedClaw isn't a factual claim. It's what you might call a fear meme. It's the community naming the nightmare scenario before it even happens. It's them recognizing that even if the license says open, all the real power, the roadmap, the defaults, the project's center of gravity, can slowly drift toward a single company.
This quote right here, it gets to the absolute heart of the strategy. You don't need to own the code. You just need to control the default user experience, the easiest integration, the path of least resistance. You just need to own the habit. The code can stay open forever while the default path gets owned completely.
Which brings us to the final, lingering question. You see, with the old playbooks, the community often didn't realize what was happening until it was too late. But this time, with OpenClaw, they've seen it coming. They've named the nightmare from day one. So the real question is, does seeing the pattern and naming the fear out loud, does that actually change the outcome? Or is the gravitational pull of centralized power just too strong to resist in the end?